Michel and Raymond sat on the steps, panting as they drank water. According to the report, it does not appear that magical creatures will appear in the stairwell. Although it's dangerous to take it as it is, they thought it was safer here than elsewhere, so they rested here. Just like Shinji and the rest of them, Michel and others were otherworldly visitors picked up by Master Gadra. They all felt that Gadra had been gracious to them, rewarding them with a bite to eat when they fell into this inexplicable world. And this Gadra's whereabouts are unknown. He seemed to be leading a special force on a mission to the Demon Lord Rimuru's territory. And again. These men, who were said to have died in battle and to have traveled with Gadra, were also well known to Michel. The three men were Shinji Tanimura, Mark Lauren, and Zhen Liuxing. Also, Shinji Tanimura is a man with leadership qualities, and won't leave behind people who are in trouble. This man has a good heart. Although a bit retarded at times, there are people who admire such Shinji. Gadra has been gracious to them. Plus Michel and the others also wanted to come and make sure to see if the friends who were going to be good were okay. After talking to the pals about such ideas, the two who fought the most among them, Michel and Raymond, were pushed to join the expedition. For such reasons, Michel took the liberty. Raymond agrees with her, and the two launched their operation behind Yuki's back. They hired someone to transfer them from the Hybrid Legion to the Mecha Legion, so they could carry out this battle plan. For there is such a story behind Michel and them, and Calgario's order is just what they want. Maybe it's a big mistake to go in there. Probably. I didn't expect the enemy to be this strong. The two of them were divided into 59 levels. These two were unaware of it. In fact, Rimuru and the others had planned to get them directly to the 60th level in a single turn. But these two are likely to hide their strength. There was also the possibility that someone was pretending, so Rimuru and the others decided to see the situation first before they did. Just the two of them breaking through so many traps alone was very taxing. Just one day made Michel tired them half to death. Inevitably this would happen. Hey, what to do? Want to move on? Say what the hell? We'll just have to walk the next floor. With so many weapons and traps, it's dangerous to advance with no countermeasures. That's true. But when I say you, there's no other way, is there? Once inside the maze, they got separated from the others. Raymond was right. In fact, even Michel understood that, but there was really nothing they could do at the moment. Since it's dangerous to move forward, what's the right thing to do? There's no way this maze can be broken. Also, if there is time, there may be a turnaround, but even if it takes more than a month to walk through one floor a day, it will take more than a month. It's not really that bad, but we don't have enough food. The biggest problem is this. Michel and Raymond did not undergo reconstructive surgery, and therefore had to eat. The water part should do the trick, but the grain is only 20 days old. If they didn't have magical creatures lurking on that floor like the one just now, they wouldn't have been able to resort to eating monster flesh and blood. They may not last even 3 weeks at this rate. It's only been a day since they broke into the maze. The situation was already desperate, with a sense of unpredictability. However, the two of them didn't give up. By the way, someone sent this to us before we came in. Do you think you can trust it? Pointing one side of his throat, Michel asked Raymond so. His finger pointed to a piece of jewelry that was to be carried out before the maze invasion battle that Calgario had handed them. I heard that it's a test piece produced by the development department, modeled after the resurrection props that Gadra brought back. I've heard that there is this: even if you die in the labyrinth, you can still come back to life, but Michel doesn't believe it. Of course I can't believe it. Even if it does come back to life, then where will we come back to life? That's true. If we will come back to life on the spot, we will run to the magical creature that killed us. This part of the experiment hasn't even been done yet, has it? Right? Seems like they're going to experiment with us. Besides, why hang it around your neck? Isn't it the bracelet I heard you brought back? That means the Empire's technology isn't mature enough. Since this is a replica of the duck that was rushed to the shelves, someone explained to them that the size became larger. Yet this made both of them even more suspicious. I am not even willing to accept the idea of handing over my life to an imitation, as a matter of common sense. It is only the chosen ones that we prepare such things for them. I'm bullish on you guys and think something like this is worth delivering to you. In this way, Calgario has polished the words in his explanation, which in turn means that he has not confirmed what will happen if he uses them. If you die first, then I can confirm what happens when I use it. That joke's not funny. At least I'm not going to rely on that kind of stuff. Raymond gave a practical response. After all, the original version of such a thing, the resurrection bracelets, came from the power of the Demon Lord, right? Don't you think a fake like this will make the other party angry? As Raymond continued to pick up where he left off, Michel seemed to share this, shrugging her shoulders in agreement. The premise of the action is that there is no way to be resurrected from the dead, a conclusion that both rightly draw. All that can be counted on is their strength. So the two stood up with bitter smiles on their faces. Want to go? Right. Now that it's all come down to this, we can only move forward. If it doesn't work out, people will forgive us. Will it? Shinji would have laughed, but he... Please stop. It's hard to forget. Yeah, sorry. He's even scarier than the maze. Hey, how can you speak your mind just because the other person can't hear you? But I also agree that that's it. Right. I really admire Shinji's retardation. People are so passionate about him, but they are completely ignored. I agree. But that's the way it's gonna be. About that, actually, he's also just that. Also, thinking about it this way makes you think that Shinji isn't easy either. Maybe he'll survive if he doesn't do anything to save his life. Yeah, that's it. There was absolutely no telling who would be waiting for them ahead. Immediately following. Hello, you. Michel and Raymond. There's something I'd like to discuss with you too. Right. Because this thing is really doing you guys a lot of good, it doesn't hurt to listen. You're supposed to be listening. Seeing the trio of Shinji and others who they wanted to save come out to greet themselves, Michel and Raymond were surprised to the point of stiffness. Well, you guys seem surprised. I'd like to ask you too. Can you hear us out first? There was also a huge magic doll towering in front of us, and a nostalgic sound came from inside. It must be right that the owner of the voice was the one who had been kind to Michel and then Gadra. You're still alive. Shall we say what's going on? Gadra and the others are going to start talking to convince each other. The two were in turmoil, and it only took a little more time to convince them. It looked like Gadra had them convince each other with such ease and simplicity that it was surprising. Shinji said they would not take part in this war, and even their aunt to be lobbyists. Presumably, their efforts were not in vain, and without argument, the other just agreed. The two, Michel and Raymond, were both disciples of Gadra and friends of Shinji. In order for the two who became partners to take some time to study for the time being, the intention was for them to work under Shinji and the others. While this should be used without fear of their betrayal, it's better to take precautions first. Let's look at the situation first, and then compare them to Shinji and let these two people get promoted. Things were going well up to the 60th floor. Then come to the 70th floor. It is hilly and there are about 100 people gathered together. At first it all seemed a bit fuzzy, but now that the day had passed, they had all calmed down. Above the hills there was a place of great visibility, where these men camped, and several scouts were sent to scout in various places. They don't seem to be planning to act right away and feel very deliberate. Just a commander running off to somewhere else, but it's amazing that they can still correspond so calmly. It should be said that the warriors are outstanding in the various units. Thought they panic even more. No, that's the way it should be. They crafted a clear chain of command from the beginning, even if the commander wasn't there. Unlike me, Rimuru gives commentary lightly. Are we okay here? Of course. Even without me, there is the Green Legion, and underneath Green Legion, there are excellent talents standing by. Tactical theory is also a must for the Kurenai, and everyone can be commander. Oh, you're so confident. Even I didn't learn those. At what point did they learn them? That's good. What do you think their purpose is? Their purpose must have been to find out if there were any survivors on the other floors. That's on their bad luck. The rest of the floor is a different story, and this one leaves no trace. Rimuru replied as if he was sympathizing with those enemies. Hearing that, I also understood. Shall we let Adalman attack? When I said so, Xian nodded vigorously along with me. It looked as if she was feeling very bored, and she herself was eager to strike out. Even so, as long as there were still enemies left in the maze, she was responsible for protecting me. Even Xian understood this, so she wanted to finish the matter sooner rather than later, and go outside to fight. That's right. There's no way to get any great information if you keep watching. Seeing this look on Xian's face, Rimuru said with a dark smile. Instructions to Adalman follow. It seems that Xian wasn't the only one who was looking forward to fighting. Adalman had also been preparing his army to meet the Imperial army early on. Adalman and the others continued their winning streak, seemingly intent on taking advantage of the situation to win even the final battle. Then go for it. Yes. The encouragement I gave became a signal for war. Adalman and then rest came in force and opened the closed door and struck at it. Then an hour passed. A startling sight appeared before his eyes. There were only 3 survivors left on the Imperial side. It's just that the only ones who have survived on our side are also Adalman, Albert and the Necromancer Dragon. It's now a 3-on-3 showdown. However, Kufufufufu. Interesting people have emerged. I'd like to fight them too. Rarely do Diablo and Xian give their testimonials. Such a powerful warrior was mixed up in the enemy army, and there were 3 others. One was a gentle-looking male swordsman. The opponent is fighting Albert. The other person is the Wizard of Beauty. In a magical showdown with Adalman. There was also a tall warrior of stature. The power of one man alone held the Necromancer Dragon. Seeing the opponent summon the familiar glowing armor to wear on his body, it must have been a partner who was previously killed by Tensura and possessed legendary equipment. The styles are uniform and definitely belong to the same organization. That swordsman is so strong that he's intimidating. I never thought he'd be on equal footing with Albert. The battle between Albert and the man, both of them used a rare divine skill. Each belonged to the genre of equipping swords and shields, and their strengths were somewhere in between. Like Rimuru said, it's true to say that those two are comparable in strength. This guy seems to be more than the man who was beaten down by Tensura. Maybe this guy's ranking is up front, too. Kufufufufu. In the face of an opponent of that level, the magic was surprisingly at a disadvantage. That said, Diablo. Regardless of the holy and magical attributes, that armor can resist all magic. It's no wonder it's working against Adalman. Xian's comments hit the nail on the head. Although Adalman had the additional skill Holy Demon Reversal, that legendary level defense was so foul that it could resist almost all magic. The Death Spirit Dragon was a monster that even Saoi couldn't defeat. Facing such an opponent and being so belligerent, it was more difficult than expected. What do you think? When I finished asking, all three gave different answers. The strength of the theory is that Albert is better. But he is poorly equipped and should lose this battle. Adalman is too eager to get ahead of himself. If he had been calm, he would have won by now, and there was no way to deal a fatal blow to his opponent. If Albert is defeated at this time, they will be defeated in one fell swoop. They can only win. How can they be defeated? Three people with three views. Should I say that the answer of only Xian is strange? Rimuru and Diablo's views are very similar. They both think that Adalman and the rest will lose. In contrast, Xian just thought that one spirit could conquer all. That's not called an opinion, it's called a wish. So they might lose, huh? That doesn't seem good. Anyway, even if Adalman and the others lose, there are still 10 others on this side. And I won't lose if I'm on the field, so it should be fine. Of course, I will also defeat the others, so rest assured, Lord Rimuru. Rimuru is so confident and feels as if there is a solution to whatever problem he encounters. Xian is still the same. As much as it was tempting to ask her what her basis was for saying something like that, she couldn't have come up with a basis, I suppose. It's true that there is a Xian style, so let's just accept it. Lord Rimuru, you needn't worry. The 10 lords of the Labyrinth also have Lord Baldor's apprentice, Zijin, at their head. As long as he sits, there's no need to even bother Lord Baldor. One side giggled and Diablo so responded. It's rare for Diablo to compliment someone. That should make it okay, which reassures me a bit. While we're at it, the win-loss showdown seems to be getting better. In time, Adalman and the rest will win. We were hoping for the same thing, but unfortunately the enemy seems to have noticed. It looks like you're going to stall for time to break through, but it seems too much of a stretch. Get me serious, you guys go to the other world and show off with this thing. The Scandinavian man facing Albert, who was an enemy, shouted the words. At this point in time, does he have a killer weapon? Before you guys die, let me give you a name. My name is Krishna. A knight of the Empire 17th in the Imperial Order of the Imperial Kaiser's Guard. I am Raiha, the 94th in line. 35th in line, Bazin. Ah, is it really the Imperial Emperor's Knights of the Guard? I heard about it from Gadra's side, and it looks like the members inside are really good. The man who had been beaten down by Tensura was ranked 11th, and thought the one called Krishna would be ahead of him. Originally I thought strength was proportional to ranking, but it doesn't seem so. It felt like Raiha was more strutting than Bazin again, and explaining in that direction should be right. These aside, the point is who wins and who loses. Seeing Krishna and the others had reported their names, Adalman and the rest also seemed to have renewed their fighting spirit. Thought that would turn the tide, unfortunately things didn't go so well. The key to victory lies in this battle between Krishna and Albert. Krishna's sword slashes Albert's grudge sword, curse sword. Whether to say slash or crush, it's all in the difference in weapon performance. Repeated chops gradually accumulate damage to the opponent's weapon, crushing it with the last breath. That seems to be the kind of combat that Krishna is good at. Just like that, the loss of the weapon defeated Albert. Once the forward was lost, Adalman was momentarily at the disadvantage. Not at all like a defender, he played flashy, unexpectedly sticky, but still got pinned down for it, and ended up losing the game. The battle ended when the last three launched simultaneous attacks to wipe out the necromancer. So, in the face of three people like Krishna, we suffered a bitter defeat. Anyway, it's all over, just reflect on it afterwards. Now to go to the next stage. The big screen illuminates the battle situation on the 79th floor, and the battle situation on the 90th floor. Both sides are getting better and better in terms of wins and losses. Kumara's reaction was too intense. Since the bearded man was the one she wanted a revenge on, it was no wonder she was particularly keen. Relatively, come and see pedo. This side is again a surprisingly tight race. That being said, Apido is now so strong that she is on a par with Hinata, who has no use for magic. To be able to fight a tie with such an Apido would mean that the man who looked like a commander was also very powerful. This guy also looks to be a Scandinavian man, and seems to be no slouch in terms of strength, compared to that Krishna from a while ago. I wonder who wins and who loses in the end. We all watched nervously, our eyes firmly on the big screen.